Hey guys, Retro Rewinder here, coming at you with another pickup video. I've got a lot of stuff in this pickup video that's really cool, so let's get started. First thing that I have is not actually video game related. It's a movie poster that my boss picked up for me when she went to see the movies. And I've heard this movie is awful, but I thought the poster was pretty cool. And that was Transformers: Age of Extinction. And I just thought that was a pretty cool poster with Optimus Prime. So that was the first thing. I'm going to find a spot to hang it up in the game room. And like I said, I heard the movie's really bad, so I probably won't watch it until it comes out on DVD. I was able to find two things at Goodwill this time. The first just being a AV cable for Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, GameCube, etc. This was $1.99, and you can always use extra ones of these. And the other thing that I was able to find at Goodwill was a copy of Resident Evil 0 for $2.99. It does have both the discs. Unfortunately, there's no manual, so that was kind of a bummer, but still cool to get at Goodwill because I did need this one. I also have two pawn shop finds this week. The first being a copy of SSX3 for the GameCube. This particular pawn shop sells these for $1 a piece. And I wasn't really going to pick it up until that I saw that it had a memory card with it. And for $1, you can't pass up on a memory card, let alone a game and a memory card. So I decided to get that one for the collection. And I do like the SSX games. I was a big fan of SSX Tricky. And the other game was a game I believe they had mispriced, and that was Call of Duty Ghosts for the 360. And they only had $10 on that. Normally this pawn shop charges like $30 for the newer game, so I definitely got a steal on that one. This next little section is a trade that I did into a local game store. I took a big box of crap that was literally crap, I can't even think now. Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy games, sports titles, that kind of stuff. A lot of junk. Everything was, under $5 on eBay. Stuff that it just wouldn't make sense for me to sell on there. So that's what I normally do is I put it into a big box and let it pile up and eventually take it in. So I actually took it to 3 stores. The first store gave me I think $40 or $50 store credit. And then they gave me a bunch back and said that they couldn't take it. I took that stuff to a different store. They gave me another $30, and then they gave me a bunch of stuff, and then the third store gave me another $40. So it ended up being right around $115, including all the store credit that the places gave me. So the first place I went, actually this is the third stop, but it gets cooler, I think. The first place, then the second place was a little less cool, in my opinion. So the third stuff, I had about $40 store credit, so I ended up getting Knuckles Chaotix for the 32X, and they wanted $25 for that, which is already a pretty good price. And the fact that I was getting it with store credit was a no-brainer. Then a PS1 game, Oddworld Abe's Exodus. I was a big fan of this one on the PS1. Back when I originally owned a PS1, I played it a lot. I didn't have a whole lot of games, so that might have been an attributing factor of why I played it so much. A game that I know nothing about, besides that it's a Working Designs title, and that's Gun Griffin Blaze. And they only had $1.99 for that, so I went ahead and just threw that in the pile as well. And then a game that I bought just to resell or trade is a black label copy of Super Mario Sunshine. They only had $12 on it, and that's a pretty good deal anyway. It's normally like a $20, $25 game. So I put that with the store credit. And the last thing I got was a game that I've been looking to complete that I just never find the game. I've had the outer box, the art booklet. It's actually like a history booklet. But that's Kirby's Dream Collection. They had it priced for $25, and I had about $15 left when I went to get this, so I paid an extra $10 to go ahead and add this one to the collection. And with the store credit, I also got a few PS1 RPGs. This one also came from Disc Replay. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the manual, but it does have the cloth map and all the discs, and that's Lunar. Does not have the outer box, obviously, but not a big deal. But that was pretty cool to add for $25, and that was store credit. The second place that I went to that they gave me right around $30 store credit. It was more like 25. Was a store called The Exchange, and I really don't find too much there because their prices are just normally a tad higher than I want to pay. But with store credit, I was able to get a copy of Vagrant Story, and this is complete. And I don't play a whole lot of PS1 RPGs or RPGs in general just because I don't have the time. But this winter, I'm actually not going to have a part-time job since I work at a golf course now. So that should free up some time and hopefully get to play some more RPGs. TJ, I'm talking to you. I will start Earthbound at some point. So yeah, picked up a copy of Vagrant Story. The first store that I took all my stuff to, they gave me, I believe it was almost $50 store credit, and I basically used all of it on these two games. The first being Kartia, or Cardia, not sure how you pronounce that. An Atlas title, another PS1 RPG. It is complete. And a game that everyone seems to rave about and say it's really good, especially when I posted the pictures of these things. And if you're not already, go check out my Facebook page and my Twitter. That's where I post a lot of these finds before I make videos. But that was a copy of Suikoden. I do have a couple of these on the PS2. And I had a chance to buy Suikoden 2 for like $80, which is actually a pretty good deal. But I passed on it because I didn't have the cash that day. So yeah, picked up 4 pretty good RPGs for the PS1 with store credit. And finally, for the find of the week, my one garage sale pickup for this week was 4 Super Nintendo games. And this actually has a pretty funny story. I was at a sale. I asked this lady if she had any video game stuff. She said that she did, but she did not bring it. So she told me she would go home real quick. It was going to be about 5 minutes, and I said, okay, I'll wait. She said she wasn't sure if it was a Nintendo 64 or a Sega, but when she brought it out, she had this cloth bag, and she pulled out a Sega Genesis Model 1 that was all dusty, no cords, no controllers. She also pulled out a Sega Game Gear, no power cord, which you just run it off batteries anyway, but it does have a power cord as well. No games for either of those systems. And the last thing she pulled out was a regular Nintendo, again, super dirty, no controllers, but it did have the cords. And when she pulled that out, she said that her husband told her that it was worth several hundreds of dollars. I was like, really? Several hundreds of dollars? I said, that's way too much for me. I'm definitely not going to go with that. And then she told me that, well, she wasn't sure if it worked, so since they weren't sure if it worked, they would settle for $150. And I was like, yeah, no thanks. But she did pull out 4 Super Nintendo games. And I was like, you know, do you have the system? And she said that's all she could find. So I told her I would be interested in the Super Nintendo games, but I couldn't drop that much money on a system. She said that was fine. Asked how much I wanted to pay for them. I didn't want to go too low. I was going to offer $1 a piece. But I decided to offer $10 for 4 games, and she happily accepted. The first, not really a winner, but since with the 4 games, I decided just to go ahead and take it anyway. And that was a copy of Wheel of Fortune. Like I said, nothing too exciting. This game I actually picked up not too long ago, so this one is up for trade, and that's a copy of Super R-Type. Again, nothing that great, but the final 2 games were the real reason I decided to buy these, and if you guys watch this, it'll be a no-brainer. You would have done the same. The first being a copy of The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Really good game. I'm going to have to go back and play this because it's not one of my favorite Zeldas, but I just got done beating Link Between Worlds, and it's a sequel of this game. So I might go ahead and back and try this game out. See if I like it any better now. And the final game, definitely deserving of the find of the week, especially for $3.33. Or a little less than that, actually. What would that be? $2.50. And that was a copy of Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. So an awesome RPG to get, and I actually already have it, so this one is up for trade as well. I do have somebody that's already interested in it, but if that trade doesn't work out, you guys can go ahead and contact me. The best thing to do is contact me through Facebook. The YouTube messaging system is a little off right now for me, and I have a hard time reading messages. So I hope you guys like this video and the different change of background, and this has been my pickup video, and I'll talk to you next time.